All right, just made this quick video to help you get the PO information into the master spreadsheet. So here is all of the PO information that has been combined. I will walk you through this, or we can discuss this on our call, but basically this is starting with the assumption that you have all of the PO information into an Excel spreadsheet. From here, just going to go ahead and capture everything that's in this table. So I'm going to do a copy, and then from here just go to the Core Fresh Pantry tab and then scroll to the bottom, and that's where we're going to go ahead and enter or paste the rest of this information. So I'm going to paste what we just captured from the current POs into that. So now we have it combined with the previous table. So if we go back to the monthly table and take a look here, we are starting with, scroll down here, 44,000 roughly in April sales. So now we've added to the table here, but now we obviously need to update the pivot table. But before we do that, we have to go back and we have to populate these columns over here that did not have information that was transferred from the Amazon POs. So we have to, let's see, it looks like we have to populate banner, UPC, brand, type, and product name. So the way to do that quickly is to first make sure you're in the table, and then go to AbleBits Data, and that was the software edition for Excel that I talked about. Click Merge Tables. So the first thing it's going to ask is, what table do you want to merge from? Well, this is our master table from Core Fresh Pantry, so it's selected all of the cells from A1 through the end of the table. So that's where we're going to start from. And then it asks, where do you want to get the information to transfer over? So the one we're going to transfer over first time is going to be called banners, and all we're transferring over is just the vendor information. So now we turn the vendor code into Fresh Core Pantry. So click Next, and then it's asking what's the common, just kind of like a VLOOKUP, but what's the common item that we're going to look at to transfer this information over, and it's going to be vendor. And what this is telling you is that the vendor in the first table that you select matches the vendor name in the second table that you select. So these should say equal vendor vendor. Click Next, and then it's asking you what column do we want to update in the master table. So the column that we're going to want to update in the master table is going to be banner, which is right here. And then Next. And you can change these around. Right now I have them selected so that it's not coloring them, so it's not adding necessarily additional rows, because there wouldn't be, because we're just carrying those 3 items over. Click Finish. Alrighty, and then what it's done is, if you go to the banner tab over here, you'll see that everything's now been populated with either Fresh Core Pantry. There's no longer ones that say blank. So that column's been taken care of. Now if we go to this one, let's just take a look at brand. We're going to have all of the brands, but we're also going to have blanks, and these blanks are from the information that we just started off with, that we brought over. None of that has been added to the table that we brought over. So what we're going to do is now is do all of these. Now all of this information's can be done at once, so it's just repeating the same situation, or same process here. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to say Merge Tables. Yes, I'm going to take my main master table. Now the difference here is that instead of clicking banners, we're going to go ahead and click Catalog. And then we're going to click Next, because this is where all of the information for type, vegetable is located, or excuse me, brand and type is located. Click Next. Okay, again, it's asking, like in a VLOOKUP, what do you want to, what's the master lookup? And on this one, it's going to be the ASIN, because the ASIN is in both the core pantry tab and also in the catalog tab. So we're going to say look up the ASIN, and then what information do we want to have transferred over, and it's going to be all of those other ones that I mentioned before. It's going to be UPC, brand, type, and product name. So we'll click next after that, and let's click next again. Now this one I've got add non-matching rows to the end of the table, and I'll show you why when it does it, when it completes it. And then we're going to say finish. So now it's done its work. So now if we slide back over to these columns where we had vegetable, or excuse me, brand type, you'll see the blanks are gone because it's dropped the information into this column for everything as you scroll down. Same thing with type. Now, there is a couple extra columns that were added here that help you out. This first one is matching column. It tells you if it matched everything as far as the banner goes. This was the first one we did, so it said everything matched, or it matched and was updated. Let's just see. It says, oh, there's blanks at the end because of the fact that, well, let's just double check and see what the blanks are. The blanks are at the end because we have nothing from Amazon on these items from the actual PO. There was no PO that came over for these ASINs, so those will be blanks, which is understandable. So we're going to turn everything back on here, and then we're going to go to here, and this is going to say matching, matched, and updated or new row. So this is what I was referring to with the new row at the bottom here. This has created new rows of ASINs that were ordered last year, or we've set up last year, something that's in the master catalog tab that we've brought over, but there's no PO information against it. And when I say no PO information against it, I mean since January 1. So these are coming back as empty. So what needs to be done is there needs to be some cleanup here, is all of these ASINs need to be pulled out of the master catalog list over here. Otherwise, every time we go to do this, we're going to end up with these blank rows, and it's not that big of a deal because you can sort them. And then what I do is I just go here, capture them all, and then just go ahead and delete them because we do not want blank rows to go into our pivot table. All right, so then at that point, the only other thing I do when I get done here is I go back and I just delete these last two columns. They were only a process column just to let me know that the processes indeed worked. So we'll clear those out. So now we have all of the new information merged with the current information on our master table here. So if we go back to the pivot table monthly and we slide down to the bottom, again, we will have 44,000. So obviously the last thing we need to do is we need to update our pivot tables. So let's go ahead and refresh. And then once we refresh, our totals down at the bottom now are 79,000. So we brought over all of the POs for the week into this table. So hopefully that gives you a feel on how to use the merge table or merge to table functions. It's a lot quicker than VLOOKUP. This obviously has a lot of other items that you can use too, but that would be the quickest way to update this table.